There's no better way to get better at football than playing football. So if you want to,
Taylor's gonna finish it.
I've always been confident in my abilities. I think, I'm a guy that can go out there, and I always believe in myself that I'm going to get open and make the play if they throw me the ball.
The third. Ryan, end zone shot for Pierce. He caught it. Oh, what a...
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Colts Cast. We're here to talk about everything and anything Indianapolis Colts. My name is Eric Smith, co-host of the Colts Cast. Alongside me, as always, I have co-host Jamal Lawrence here.
Yo.
Yo, Jamal. With the next pick, part 2 is available. You saw it?
I did see it, yeah.
I caught. So I was halfway through, but we had to record tonight. But it is available, guys. Please go check it out. It is very interesting how the draft process went down. And we're about to get into the alien Morocco Brown kept talking about. The alien. Yeah, but it's good. Go check it out, everybody. Look. The Indianapolis Colts have absolutely smashed the 2023 NFL Draft. That all started with the 4th overall selection, Anthony Richardson. Jim Irsay said if the Colts had the number 1 overall pick, they would have probably taken Anthony Richardson. That speaks high, just basically off the value we got for him. We stood there. It's a bold statement, but we stood there. We stayed at 4. Nobody traded up, but no matter how you slice it, it's been great. So as we enter this new era with Shane Steichen as the head coach, how will Richardson really fit into our new look offense? Let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. Jamal, what do you want to start out with?
Man, I know all of our Colts listeners know I like to bring just something out of the blue whenever we start a topic. So the first thing I want to talk about is Jim Irsay, like you just mentioned. He said we had number 1, we'd have picked him. Just for people who we all know, we love Jim Irsay. We call it what you want. But Jim Irsay, man, one thing about him is when it's all said and done, he'll tell you straight up his plans. And it's wild to think about. I was reading, and it's from Stephen Holder. He did a little write-up on ESPN. This man, Jim Irsay, and I quote, I said, "There's a good chance you'll be coming to Indy in 3 hours," Irsay said. But I said, "I don't know. We'll have to see what happens." You know how ballsy it is to call someone or text them before the draft starts? You're like, "Hey, by the way, dog, you're going to be here in a little bit. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I got a good feeling." Like,
he was about 3 or 4 tequila shots in, just started drunk dialing.
Yeah, Jim Irsay, he's a real one. I just wanted to lead in with that because, what other way? Like you mentioned, we were going to pick him if he was number 1. If we were number 1, Jim Irsay doing this right here, that shows right there that the Colts have been all in on him. And it all started at Morocco Brown, as you mentioned. Morocco has been all over him since the preseason. That he was down in Florida during the preseason. He was at the workouts, and that kind of sparked that light bulb to pursue Richardson. I think it's clear, and even in this episode of with the next pick, they have some pretty solid film on Morocco and Anthony Richardson talking to each other, and he's kind of calling him an alien, a unicorn, all this other stuff, and it's crazy to think that these scouts, they have a very important job. You kind of forget about them because they get lost in the sauce. But these guys' job is to be out there and grinding day in and day out. And he saw something special in Anthony Richardson. And I'm sure every scout every year sees something special in one particular person, whatever the case is. But to not only see that, but to pursue him week in and week out and have to convince not only the position coaches, but then the head coach, then the GM, then the owner. That's some grind. That's some dedication to somebody. And that's someone who's looked at the craft and they know what they expect. And those are the qualities that I think a lot of people don't see as an outsider looking in, especially when I look at the analysts and the way they talk about Anthony Richardson. Oh, his accuracy this. Oh, his blah, 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 that. And I know we'll get into that. But as someone as Morocco Brown, who sits there and deals with this on a daily basis for his job, he's seeing those true ins and outs. And that's what I want to see when we look at recruiters and how important their job is, because he silenced all the other noise that was going on and went head first in for Anthony Richardson. And I just wanted to start off by just giving him a shout out, give Irsay a shout out, and let's get into the man of the hour.
Yeah, I think he was the only one that went to his pro day. I want to say we only sent one guy. I could be wrong, but Morocco Brown, he was just down there solo, and yeah, he saw the unicorn, thought there were some horns growing, but man, we got the guy that just has immense upside. I mean, let's get right into it. I kind of want to talk about how, I got Cowboys fans around me, Giants fans, Eagles fans, everybody but Colts fans down here in South Carolina. So I get these football junkies that they're just sitting here. Why are you so enamored with Anthony Richardson? He's a 1-year starter. He's so raw. He's 20 years old, so young. Losing season at Florida. He can't pass the rock. All this stuff, for people that didn't actually watch him. Let me stop you right there, kiddo, since you only like to look at box scores. But let's just break it down, Jamal. I mean, where do we start? 6'4", 245 pounds, broke records at the combine. I could stop it right there and say, look, huge frame, immense strength, athletic as hell, elite arm strength, top 5 in the league probably already, maybe, probably, but just as like a rookie coming in, come on. In an offense that will be dictated by downfield plays under Steichen. Best dual threat option out the draft. Deep ball is crazy. Unique arm talent. Is that enough for you guys? Is that enough for you Cowboys fans?
Sold.
Is that sold, right? Like, you have to, of course, you guys don't have him. But I would be very excited hearing all of that. And just talking about that. It's just upside Richardson. That's what we should call him from now on. That's what I see. And, then they're just like, oh, he's not going to make it in the NFL. Okay, that's fine. I don't know what to say. I can't say he's not going to make it. I can say he's been put in arguably the best situation in football right now. When you got Shane Steichen as your head coach, when you got this historically winning organization, like, he did not want to come to Indianapolis. Indianapolis is great. We have high attendance in a 4-win season. Like, Indianapolis is a great place to be. We're built off great quarterbacks. James Boyd said that to us when he was on the pod. We've been that is our unique identity. And I don't know how you're not excited if you're a Colts fan. You got a quarterback. You got a quarterback with the highest upside. Let's see if we can fill in the holes.
100% right. And I like what you said, where you were talking about how this team is going to be made for him. What people forget, and I know this is hard, and you go back to, 1 year, 13 games, Florida this, Florida actually this, actually that. He had multiple head coaches, multiple offensive coordinators. There was no stability. He is now in a position where the Indianapolis Colts, although we know Chris Ballard's kind of been shaky, we just hired a head coach on a 6-year contract, Eric. Not a 1 year, not a 2 year, not a 3, 6 years. So he's here for the long run. That's stability. This head coach has now brought in his coaching staff with him that he knows and trusts because he's been around these people for years. That's stability. He has a supporting cast at receivers with our receivers we already have, plus new receivers, Josh Downs, plus an elite running back. That's stability. And we have a offensive line who should elevate back up, especially after listening to that Quentin Nelson interview just I think it was yesterday or the day before that. Based off what he's talking about Tony Sperano, he's about to whoop them into shape. That's stability. The cards have been dealt. We are in the upper quartile, and people forget that. The Colts are about
quartile of the upper quartile of the top end quartile. Okay.
Exactly. But in all seriousness, the Colts have set him up for success. Now, again, I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to come out and have a offensive rookie of the year season, XYZ, blah, blah, blah. No one's setting the expectation that high. What I'm saying is that in a realistic setting, Florida did not have the stability he has. I'm glad he got the SEC play. He got a chance to be against that competition. Now he can elevate his game. And one of the biggest factors I think people forget about him, you're not talking about a guy who's cocky, who's coming in to showboat and all this stuff. A humble kid. Anybody who's anybody knows that the Colts organization, I've said this from day one, they care about character. Do you think Chris Ballard and Jim Irsay would have picked someone who they didn't think had character? No. Someone who they thought was cocky? No. They got somebody who's humble. He wants to be in the league. He wants to show this organization why he can be. He said he wants to be up there with Peyton and Andrew Luck. He doesn't want to be just another quarterback. He doesn't want to be an athlete. He doesn't be labeled as athlete. He wants to be labeled as a quarterback. That's a grinder. That's somebody who's going to come out probably since he touched down in Indy last Thursday, who's going to come out and give you 110% every single day because he knows his footwork needs to be worked on. He knows his action needs to be worked on. All these things correlate. And I know that he's going to go out there and give his utmost effort every single play, every single time he's on the field, because he knows he can only get better. He even said, I have all the physical traits. I'm not concerned with any physical trait. That literally comes natural to me. Now it's up to me to fix some of these traits and better myself. I don't know if you saw I saw it on Twitter just the other day where when he had to go back and rewrite the play when they were doing the one-on-one in the locker rooms with him. I forgot what coach it was who was doing it with him. I wish I remembered his name. Anyway, gave him a long drawn-out play that they used to do on his team. And Anthony Richardson had to go through and break down the play a few minutes later from memory, go back up and draw the play and show every single motion they would do, show what each receiver would do, what the O-line would do, how you read, if the safeties are going to move to the left or the right. And my point of explaining that is because the IQ, you have to have the IQ to be there. And I think that gets overshadowed because of his athletic ability. People may think that, oh, this dude is just a freak of nature. If he doesn't know what's going on, he's just going to run the ball. He's going to throw it a mile in the air. No, he has the ability to read these coverages. And it's only going to get better with stability. People forget when you have a foundation to a house, you can build as big as you want on it. But if you got a sloppy house, you can't go nowhere. So the Colts have figured out a way to now build this foundation, and they about to watch this young flower flourish. A 20-year-old is about to come out here and flourish. And again, it may not be day one. It may not be game one. It may not be year one. But that's why they hired Shane Steichen for 6 years.
It's going to be year one.
It better be year one. But I'm not going to be mad if it's not.
Yeah. I think everyone's labeled him as just a project quarterback. And I'm trying to think, I have to say most quarterbacks aren't flawless out the draft. How many guys in the last 15 years that got drafted were just clear-cut number one, plug and play, you got this, you the GOAT? I mean, I can maybe count on one hand, and Andrew Luck's definitely one of them. You knew, that guy was a stud, and he was. Trevor Lawrence, kind of knew. He was going number one overall. Joe Burrow, maybe. I don't even know if I'd put Joe Burrow up there, but he really was. I mean, clear-cut number one. That's all that really comes to mind. You could think of any more, Jamal?
No, I was gonna list those.
Yeah, in the last 15 years. I'm not going back all the way to the Peyton Manning, John Elway days, but technically that means every quarterback is a little bit of a project. So I mean, you remember what they said about Mahomes. He was nowhere near ready to play at the NFL level. He was a project. Mechanics were wonky. Too much hairball inconsistency. Wow, that literally sounds like how they labeled Anthony Richardson's weaknesses, but now he's the best quarterback in the NFL. Then you got Josh Allen. Quote, a huge gamble. A huge gamble. Had outstanding arm strength, but can't consistently place the ball in the right places. Accuracy was below average. Decision-making was below. Do I need to keep going, guys?
Hey, if you don't want to, I'm going to keep going because I got some stuff on that too.
Lamar Jackson, I mean, you're not going to get a perfect prospect most years. But I can't say we just landed a generational talent, something that won't come about next year or the year after next. It only comes every 10 to 50 years. You haven't seen a guy built like this, ever. Come on.
Yeah, you're right. You are 110% right. And touching back on Josh Allen, everyone's beating Anthony Richardson up. We got to remember, this man had 393 total attempts in college. Josh Allen in college had 649. 393. Eric, I don't know how much you know about math. I know a little bit about math. I'm not going to sit there and say I'm an engineer or a mathematician. But if I take 1 out of 10, that's 10%. I take 1 out of 100, that's 1%. I take 1 out of 1,000, and so on and so forth. So if I have a smaller number, a smaller sample size I'm going to use, any incomplete pass is going to show that my percentage is way off. the more passes he's going to throw, the better he's going to get. So you can't sit here and knock him off of he's thrown sub 400 passes and he has 50% completion rate or 55% completion rate, whatever it is. That's not the end of the world for him. That's something you can still grow on. He's going to throw the ball a whole lot more. He's going to figure out a whole lot more. But if everything you do is going to be based off of just a small sample size or small amount of attempts, then yeah, unless you are perfect every single time, your numbers are always going to be inflated, whether that be for the good or the bad. We'll be having this same conversation if he had an 80% completion rate. No one would care that he only threw 393 passes. They would say he has an 80% completion rate. That's all that matters. So we can't look at that 393 and just make that to be his most indicative number of his demise or his flaw, because with more passes, it's going to get better. With more development, it's going to get better when you're not having to worry about all the small things of who's your head coach, who's your coordinator, who your receivers are. All this, again, goes back to the stability. It's going to improve for what it's worth.
Yeah, I asked a lot of people around me that I was talking to about Anthony Richardson. I said, okay, name me one Florida receiver. Name me one pass catcher. And didn't come to mind because he wasn't surrounded by talent. Now, I won't say that's the only reason why his accuracy percentage is low, but I will say he did not have the high-end talent some of these other quarterbacks had. But yeah, you're right. Accuracy can improve to a certain extent, and I think it will. I don't think it floats around that number, in the coming years. And like you said, stability, quarterback stability, something the Indianapolis Colts haven't had since Andrew Luck retired. So yeah, I want to get to his rushing ability now. His rushing ability. And I think this is the element of Richardson and a few other quarterbacks in the league that make the opposing defenses, that it just makes their life more difficult. It just does. When you're a dangerous runner and a passer, that would be great. But if you're just a dangerous runner alone, like teams have to change their coverages. They have to drop a linebacker to spy on you or single high coverage, safety comes down, something like that. This is why I believe Richardson's floor isn't that low that people talk about. They say his upside is crazy. You got the Cam Newton, Lamar Jackson mix, but then his floor is like Jamarcus Russell. All right, relax, guys. He averaged 6.3 yards per rush with Florida last season. According to ESPN, that's the best of any quarterback in the FBS. It's the best. 6.3 yards per rush. That's really good. The quarterback position is evolving, and more capable runners are becoming the norm at that position. We're seeing it. Like, mobility is an aspect that all scouts are looking for. They want a quarterback that can do it all. And I think Richardson is more than capable. He's an electric runner, has big play potential written all over it. We saw it in college. Just if something wasn't looking right, yeah, he took off, but he took off for, I mean, geez, how many 30, 40 plus yard runs did he have, Jamal, last year for a touchdown?
I think it was 8. It was something crazy.
Something crazy. And it's college, NFL's a different level, but boy, I mean, y'all remember Matt Ryan scrambling last year.
My man turned into a scrambled egg.
Yeah,
he wasn't running.
I don't want to take stabs at Matt Ryan, but I'm just saying, like, the athleticism, it's going to be something we haven't seen in years. But like you said, Jamal, scrambled egg. I had tachycardia when Matt Ryan was out of the pocket. I didn't know what was going to happen. Oh, man. Now we got a guy who's extremely athletic, can make those plays outside the pocket with his legs or arm. We've seen him make those off-angle throws, delivering out the pocket. We've seen it. Man, it feels so good to talk about this. Shane Steichen is going to love him. He already loves him, man, but it really, like, there's a breath of fresh air now within Colts Nation, I think. And I think there's a general consensus that everyone's on board of the Richardson train. And
I think you're right, man. The breath of fresh air is something out of a movie. Obviously, the carousel has been going on for long enough. We all know that. But not only is the carousel ending, you're ending it with, like you said, a generational prospect, generational talent that who would have thought at this point last year would have even been in the mix of anything. You know what I mean? That's the scary part. Who would have thought that? And I say this with all respect to all these coaches, but again, listening to the people like Quentin Nelson and these guys talk the other day in their pressers, you can feel the breath of fresh air in the building. Not only with Richardson, because they've already talked about him and how excited they are to have him. Rich even said in his episode of with the next pick about already talking to JT, already talking to MPJ. You know these dudes are excited. You know
Grover Stewart said
yeah.
This is the guy he wanted. Like he was in the draft room. Like, yo.
Exactly. Like you know there's a whole new level. Then you bring in the coaches who again, breath of fresh air. I don't care who you are. Same thing if most time when you're at work, you got a supervisor, something you don't like anymore. You bring in someone new. No matter whether you like them or not from the jump, you're like, hey, it's a new face, boy. It's a new day. Shane Steichen walks in. You know his track record. He's not someone who's coming off the street who's just a nobody. He's just coming from the Eagles. You know that he's going to demand that.
We like those 1 year high school coaching experience resumes though.
Yes.
So, yeah, this is a little different.
It is a little different. And I'm just excited because I think that you're going to see a whole new team, whole new outlook from the team. And you have Anthony Richardson, who is not going to come in and demand. He's not going to demand and command the team. He's going to try his best to lead, but I can see him being a leader and a follower with the aspect of, yes, he wants to be a captain, and he will be a captain because he's the quarterback of the team, etc. However, a humble one who's going to come in and learn the ropes the correct way. He's not coming in with the, hey, y'all know what it is. I'm the number 4 pick. Is my way or no way? I don't see that with him. You know what I'm saying? Because the Colts wouldn't have drafted him if he was like that. Again, we all know the organization way too well to know they wouldn't do something like that. They did their research on him. They known him. They known about him for the whole 20 years he's been on this earth. And I guarantee they got somebody who's going to come in there and show the team that he's here to make them better just as much as they need to make him better. He wants to grow with them. That dude can't even drink yet. I mean, he can't even go out with the team and have a beer. It's not till like next week, I think it is. So he's still a baby.
Having a beer.
Oh, I know he's having a beer, but he's a baby. And all I'm saying is that we're about to watch this dude grow and flourish with all the weapons he needs. This man says he wants to be the best quarterback. The best quarterback. Again, y'all, not the best athlete, not the best unicorn, not the best alien, the best quarterback. He wants to take that role. He wants to embrace it and run with it. And he can run with it with his arms. He can run with it with his legs, his feet, whatever he wants to do. Because like you mentioned, Eric, that running game is raw. And I'm just waiting to see those RPOs with JT. I'm just waiting.
Let's talk about it. Let's actually talk about that. That Shane Steichen and Anthony Richardson. I feel like it's a match made in heaven. This has to be a perfect fit. And we've already talked about how Steichen can get the most out of a young quarterback, limit their weaknesses, maximize their strengths. The evidence is there. Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert. That's enough for me. Like, if you did it with 2 young guns, I'm here for Anthony Richardson, who's got more upside than those 2. You keep hearing about Steichen wanting to push the ball downfield, that vertical passing attack. Richardson can make every throw in the NFL. So check. Remember how I talked about the single high coverage that Richardson would be seeing, or any extra defender watching him closely. I think that's where Richardson can take advantage of that coverage. It's a different, it's 11 on 10 at that point, man. Attack downfield, only 1 safety back there, go down the seams, get your guy that's open. It can go either way, but when he sees coverages like that, because he's a dangerous runner, he can take advantage of that as a passer. Now, he there's going to be some growing pains
for sure.
It's got to develop, but I'm not a coach. I'm just trying to make it simple for you guys here. Like, I think Steichen is going to mold him into greatness with the scheme. Jamal just touched on the RPO game. I think it's going to be alive. The most savage backfield in the NFL. Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson. We already think Jonathan Taylor is the best running back in the NFL. Now we're going to have potentially a top 5 runner at quarterback.
Sick.
That combo is already deadly. Like, if Richardson gets the read right and their chemistry is on point, like the offense, will always have the numbers, man. Like Jonathan Taylor with one less man in the box.
Boy.
Anthony Richardson taking it for himself to the outside because he sees a clear lane. Pierce having a one-on-one situation down the sideline with no safety help. Like these are situations that are going to happen, and we're going to get our open shots. I mean, the way defenses are going to have to react to the Colts now, it's going to be terrifying once we get everything in order. That's the upside right there, man.
Oh, yeah.
Building blocks are stacking right now as we speak.
100%. My man Richardson said, all I got to do is get the ball to JT or MPJ. This man literally said that. He said, that's all I got to do. Bro, like, and let's be real here. We all know we want to see what he can do with this ball. But this man's mentality is like, I got the easiest job in the world. Meanwhile, we're like, dog, if you got that mentality, you can come in here and show up and show out. And I like how you touched on the Justin Herbert and Jalen Hurts, because when I was watching Undisputed the other day, they were going on and on and on about how, what makes Jalen Hurts this different quarterback that Anthony Richardson won't be is Jalen Hurts was the first one in and the last one out every single day of practice. I can guarantee you, Anthony Richardson, a 20-year-old freshman who knows that the media talks all day long about his accuracy, who knows that he needs to get better on his footwork, because he even said it in Florida. He said, I need to get better on my footwork with Morocco Brown. You think he's not going to be in the lab first and last every single day? This dude has way too much to prove to himself. I don't think he has to prove it to the world. I think he wants to prove it to himself that he can be the best, that he can be the best at what he can do. So I guarantee you that he will be in there first and he'll be the last one to leave, and he's going to come out and do what he has to do.
People are underestimating him, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Underestimating A-Rich. No more AR-15 nickname.
That's right. Get it out.
We gotta find a new nickname.
We do.
I don't think it can be Superman.
Nah,
Cam
got that. Yeah, I can't have that.
He about to be Batman. He about to be something.
My man, yeah.
Captain Marvel. I don't know, but they need to get that in order, because the most athletic quarterback ever just stepped into Indianapolis.
Boy.
Alien arm strength, pristine arm talent, high-end mobility, great character, coachable. Like,
what could you ask for?
Yeah, the upside is out this world. And if y'all remember that the Dragon Ball Z fusions, like fusion, like that's Lamar Jackson and Cam Newton put together. Like, oh man,
it's exciting, dog. It's exciting.
Yeah, it is very exciting, and I'm really glad they took Anthony Richardson after all this time, man.
Yeah,
they made a bet too, because I thought somebody traded up with the Cardinals that were going to take him.
Mm-hmm.
And they sat there, they made that bet, and that bet's going to pay off because they didn't give up draft capital and they got their guy. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I got.
They're cooking. It was great, and that it's only going to get better. Couple weeks away, and then we'll be starting to hear more about them, and then the practices and OTAs and all this good jazz. Man, it's gonna be a lit summer, electrifying summer the entire time watching this unfold.
Everybody's going to have an Anthony Richardson jersey.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Oh, man. But look, guys, that's going to be it for us, everyone. Thank you for listening to the Colts Cast. We're live on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or any platform you use to listen to podcasts. We'll be back next time to give you some more Indianapolis Colts content. Have a good weekend.
Take care. Enjoy the weekend.